Right now we're in North Kingstown, Rhode Island, right off of Route 1, right past 403 Highway. We're looking for Devil's Foot Rock. I think we just found it. Our friend Tom D'Agostino gave him a phone call. He told us exactly where to look for it. I have his book here, Haunted Rhode Island. It's right in the book, Devil's Foot Rock. We're about to go down the path and find it and check out the whole history of it.
Cool.
This is gonna be it right here. This is the path. And the story, from what I'm going to read this quote from Tom because I don't want to get anything wrong. It's a ghost of Peter Rugg. He's legendary throughout Maine all the way down to Connecticut. But this right here is where he said that his ghostly horse actually left imprints in this big piece of rock. I guess he went out in a storm and never made it home. And this is one of the places where he was seen and his horse left footprints. So let's go find the footprints. Here's the picture. I think this is it right here. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're seeing this, it's the first time I've ever seen this. I've never been here before. I know I lived in Rhode Island all my life, but I've never seen Devil's Foot Rock. So you're seeing this for the first time as I am. Rock, tree, and over here.
That's them?
Yep, that's them. This is them. You see, messed up right now.
Well, here we are at Devil's Foot Rock in North Kingstown. It's one of the many urban legend tales I've heard growing up in Rhode Island. As you can see, the formation in the rocks look like hoof prints. I don't know if they're actually the devil's hoof prints, but certainly interesting nonetheless.
There's something actually like dirt, like it was just mud. You just skipped it away. Here too, looks like the horse was here. Yeah, like this. The horse was like this. That's right about as wide as a horse would be. And it's right up here too, another mark. Came up there, this big one right here. I'm not gonna stick my foot in there, it's full of water. One there, one here. See one over here. Then kind of dispersed for a minute. I'm not seeing them right. There's one here. There's a big one here. Looks like there might be something here. One here, definitely. This one's weird though. This one looks like it's coming back. Looks like it's planted here. See? It looks like this.
There's different versions of the story. In some versions, it was, I guess, a Native American woman who sold herself to the devil, so to speak, and then tried to go back on the deal. And so the devil starts to chase her, and he chases her throughout Rhode Island and leaves a footprint, wherever his foot has landed. So there are lots of devil's footprints actually. And some of the stories are connected, like Purgatory Chasm in Middletown. There's devil's footprints there too. So part of the story is that he also landed there in pursuit of her. And also in Montauk, I think at the end of Long Island, there's devil's footprints that sometimes are connected to this devil's footprint story.
Skeptical part of this could be something else. Could have been here at one time. Water leaking down off of something that does that to rocks, but they do look like hoof prints.
Dude, check that out.
Dude, you know what that is? You know what that is? That's the devil's microwave. See how it's all busted up? Lucifer got so pissed off that his hot pocket was still cold after 4 minutes, he threw it in the woods.
The Rhode Island Historical Society owned Devil's Foot Rock
Really?
for a long time. And DOT wanted to put that highway interchange that goes right by there now, they wanted to blow up Devil's Foot Rock. To do that, they had to do a study to see if it was a culturally significant traditional historical property. So they contracted me to do the study. And my conclusion was that it was, that if the rock was gone, then probably the legend would disappear too. And so they had to preserve it, which didn't make them really happy. I gathered all the texts together and analyzed them and showed that it was part of folklore. It had been part of folklore for quite a number of generations because of the variation that we found in the story. And then I also connected it both to Native American tales like Hobomoko or the Giant, and also to European folklore where the giants in European folklore get changed into devils or demons when the Christians started taking over in the millennium around 1000, around the year 1000, when Christianity started to really take over in Europe. Then all of these so-called pagan figures of folklore that were basically heroes of different kinds were turned into demons and devils. So the giant's kitchen becomes the devil's kitchen. The giant's footprints become the devil's footprints. And then the same process happened here in the New World. When the Christians came and found Native American folklore that had these giant hero figures, they had to demonize them.
So when you present the folklore in terms of it being a tale about the devil jumping into and leaving marks, I mean, do you have people scoff at you and say, "Oh, that's not history. That's just a bunch of anything like that"?
I present it for what it is. It's folklore.
Yeah.
So you can believe it or not believe it, and that's what makes it. That's what makes legends interesting enough for people to pass on, because it's that gray area between what's believable and what's incredibly unbelievable. You know, well, it could be, and so they retell it, and it gets passed along. If it's so mundane that it's not interesting, it won't be retold. And if it's so out of, so crazy that it could never even possibly have happened, then it probably won't get retold. So to be a successful legend, it's got to fall in between those two areas. I don't think that the DOT was very pleased that I concluded that the site was important for the legend to continue, and no one really said, well, does the legend need to continue? I made a case for the fact that the legend really told us a lot about the early contact between Native Americans and the European colonists.
And during your study, did you have to analyze the hoof prints?
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Were they the devils?
But they're big.